Glad you decided to give him a second look.
I like him, even though he's not my typical kind of kid. And first impressions ain't always what they seem.
Guess not.
Man.
What's happening, people? Lamont, Tyson back in the building for my Bel-air Season 2, Episode 1 Ending Explain Review video. What a great way to start a Season 2. And let me shout out everybody in this cast. Just a beautiful talent, beautiful black skin tones, just beauty everywhere in this cast. I love them doing a parallel of what sometimes society feels like we don't see on TV, which is a good impression of strong black men, as well as a black billionaire family. And one thing I love about this show and Peacock, some of the best cinematography in all the land. And I'm here to break this thing down for you. Please subscribe to my channel, turn on those notifications, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, the TicToc. And also I got a podcast where I put everything on from YouTube. In the beginning, we'll go ahead and explain what happened. We see this Doc character sitting with JB in the office doing homework, and he's some kind of a connection to the NBA. Somehow, some way, he's an agent. He's this, he's that. I think at the end of the day, he's one of these AAU guys that makes strategic deals, puts himself in place that might be in a little bit of the gray area. And he sees an opportunity with Will, not just because of his talent, but then you flip over and you see that Uncle Phil is a black billionaire. So ladies and gentlemen, watch out for this Doc and JB, because they're going to be a force to be reckoned with Will and Uncle Phil. And somehow or another, they're probably going to cause a divide between the family. And in the end, they're going to have to make a comeback as a unit, which leads me to the character breakdowns for this episode. Let's start with Will. We find Will has moved out and has been living with Jazz over the last 2 weeks, and he keeps coming in with wads of money. At first, you see him meeting JB. We don't know what the hell Will is doing. Is he selling drugs? Is he hoeing his body out? Who knows with Will? But we later learn it's because he's gambling on street ball with people, making money that way. He's really not telling anyone, not Jazz, not Carlton, nobody. And we also learned that he's keeping a strong contact with the whole family except for Uncle Phil. Someone he's got a lot of heat toward, because Phil, his mama, Vivian, they all kept the secret about the daddy. And more so than anything, it's not the daddy Will has heard about. It was them keeping that big secret. He encounters Lisa during this episode and is trying to make amends with her because he admitted that he loved her. But at the very end, we see him break up with Lisa. And ladies and gentlemen, could it be that he was thinking about the new Jackie? We got the new Jackie up here now, who had what looks to be a German Shepherd barking at Will. And she introduced herself without really telling her name till the end. But she did give Will a piece of advice of how he can get in the good graces of Doc. Let your actions speak louder than your words. And that's what he did. He went out there and beat up the 6'8" Umar Johnson, put a hole in him, and he got everybody's attention, including little Miss Jackie, who at that point in time, the dog, German Shepherd, was letting Will pet him. Will talked pure tea junk about that dog, called him a monster, called him a gargoyle, called him ugly. But in the end, Jackie and the dog like Will, and I do think Jackie is going to pose a problem for Lisa this season. And in the end, Lisa said she loved Will, but it was too late. Will felt like they needed some time apart. Gonna be a good season with Will. We see Hillary, ladies and gentlemen. She now has her own influencer house, paid for by Ivy. Hillary's supposed to be the boss, the leader of the ship, but Ivy keeps sticking her hand in everything and occasionally likes to throw around that I paid for this house. Don't y'all bitches forget that. But in the end, what really was the biggest story here was the fact that Hillary and Jazz have what we would deem a relationship, but there's no title on it. They sleeping together, they going together, they like each other. And Jazz really likes her enough that he wants a title. She kind of want to keep her options open. and tells him no, until she sees how Ivy and everybody else is all up on the brother Jazz. And by the end, Ivy just run up on Jazz, kissed them all in the mouth, and Hillary's like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. That's my man, get off him. But I'm sitting up here like, Jazz, you lucky devil, you done got kisses from beautiful women all in the same episode. But I think that this relationship is going to face a whole lot of turmoil, and Ivy could be the butt of that turmoil. Post your comments, let me know what you think. And then we get to my man, Uncle Phil, that I have called America's uncle. He's back. And of course, he's got that beef with Will. And a lot of that beef is because Uncle Phil has an ego the size of a Mack truck trying to go in the butthole. And that butthole he's trying to go into is Will's. And he's just not letting go. He's not relinquishing. And we learned that it's been 2 weeks that him and Will have split and the family have split. And he's also back at his old law firm where we get a chance to see my man Shaver, that's his real name, Weasel from Family Matters. In here is the partner with Uncle Phil. Now, it looks to me like Weasel is being Weaselly because he's got something going on in that law firm because they didn't expect Phil to be back so quickly. And he got to go run to some Zoom call, probably up to no good, telling everybody Phil is back. We're going to have to stop our shady practices. Now, what kind of stuff do you think Weasel is taking Uncle Phil on? What kind of crap? Post your comments. Let me know what you think with that. And we also learned that Uncle Phil, in his prideful stubbornness, did not take Jeffrey back into the home, but he did take Jeffrey's advice about the streets taking over Will, and he apologized to Will on that yacht for Ashley's birthday, but he never took Jeffrey back, and I got a problem with that. And then speaking of my guy, MI6 Jeffrey, we got a chance to see him console Will, and he gave Will some great, great advice that you can give any young person, especially a young man. Sometimes a man has to make a hard choice and you got to step to that choice and make it. That's what he told Will. And guess what? He lived by his own words, made a hard choice, accepted that he made a mistake with the family, went to Uncle Phil, let him know what was going on with Will, and then he apologized. And I'm sure he was thinking maybe he'll give me my job back, but he had already mentioned just how stubborn Uncle Phil is. But ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, he's going to get his job back. He has to. He's a beloved character on this show. Really love his acting. I love the dynamic with him and Uncle Phil together. And he's going to need that bodyguard that we know on this show as MI6 Jeffrey. And then we get to Aunt Vivian, ladies and gentlemen. And her storyline is being a good conscious backbone to this family. But she's also got her artwork and her scholarship and everything going on with the artwork. And she's trying to make a name for herself with a different direction from the one Reed wants her to go on by turning on new young black artists in an industry that has been peppered with the elites. And oftentimes blacks wasn't allowed in those clubs. And to this day, just because of the type of finances needed for this type of fine artwork, we're just now starting to get into it. And she wants to vouch for those young upcoming artists. But Reed ain't having none of it. Oh, light-skinned eyes, daredevil eyes, got his eyes on Viv, ain't having it. And that's why she's not my TV wife no more, because I felt like she fell for his banana in the tailpipe. And now she's seeing everything I tried to tell her about him. He's a dirtbag because he is treating her like she's his understudy. Like he's Batman, she's Robin. He doesn't want her to have a voice. It's just, you're going to be tagging along with me. And I think that's because he wants to keep her at bay because he wants her Vivian panty draws. Post your comments. Let me know what you think. Then, ladies and gentlemen, last but definitely not least, the birthday girl, Ashley. Whole episode building up to her big birthday party. But en route to that birthday party, she tells the family, all I want for my birthday is for Will to come home. No gifts. I want to donate any money to charity. And that just shows how much of a young adult this young lady is. And then we get a chance to see for the first time my childhood crush, the original Ashley, Tatiana Ali, playing Mrs. Hughes. And did y'all see how they put that little Easter egg in there where her name is Mrs. Hughes, but she pulls the book right next to Langston Hughes' book. gives it to Ashley because Ashley has a thirst, a zeal for the history of African Americans. And what did we see in that moment? Little tattletale ass Anglo-Saxon probably ran somewhere and told somebody her ass probably came from Florida, is trying to get rid of what certain Anglos call critical race theory or wokeism, which just means we don't want people to be educated about what's really happening in this country. Tells the teacher, and then we see them chastising Miss Hughes, and we see a teacher closing the door on Miss Hughes in Ashley's face, probably because that tattletale plant from Florida went and told them that she's teaching Ashley about the real Black history. I certainly hope they get her ass for that. And throughout the initial trailers, we saw that there's going to be a protest where we're going to see Black teachers' lives matter, and it's probably because they're going to fire my girl Ashley, and she might even wind up going to the Banks law firm to get some representation on her behalf, and I hope she does. But in the end, we wind up seeing them having a birthday party for Ashley. Now, what Black teenager gets a birthday party on a damn super yacht? Okay, I'll tell you what kind. The family of Black excellence, which Uncle Phil has set the standard on TV for. And they're giving her a party on this yacht, and we see Will and Jazz getting there late, and they're telling them to hurry up as if they about to leave his ass. And if they do start to leave, they could probably make it with a swift dive to the ship, because the ship ain't gonna move that fast. But I was just like, y'all need to stop. Like y'all really about to leave them, they that close. And during this celebration, we get a chance to see Ashley having a lot of fun. We see Will meeting up with Lisa and breaking up with her. We see what happened with Jazz and Hillary. And ultimately, Will making up with Uncle Phil, and in the end, coming back home. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my review. What a great start to season 2. Great TV show in general. And I will be going live to discuss this show, ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come back and check me out then. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok. Download the podcast. Till that next Sex is Hell video. I'll see you.